Hey guys, welcome back. Mr. Marone here. You are into chapter 11, which is all about area, surface area, and volume. And we're going to start out with a fairly simple section where we're just using area. And a lot of these formulas should look familiar to you because they're things that we've done for many, many, many years. So if you look closely at this top window here, we've got 6 formulas listed for you. And there's, B and H for base and height for a triangle. You've got length and width. You've got all different things here that you can go to reference. So I'm not going to go over those formulas because you've been taught them over time. The only one that you probably haven't seen is this trapezoid formula. And it's simply adding the two bases, the two parallel sides together, and then multiplying by the height, as long as the height is perpendicular to the bases, and then cutting it in half. So whenever we deal with anything area, we've got 4 steps really. You've got to identify the shape and then write down the formula. Immediately write the formula so that you're not trying to guess after the fact. Go to that formula first and foremost. And once you've done that, substitute the info they gave you and then solve out. So if we look at this first example here, they gave us a parallelogram. Well, my formula for parallelogram is the area is equal to the base times the height. So I'm going to write down A equals BH. Now my base is going to be that 12.9. And then my height, it has to be perpendicular, is going to be 7.1. And at that point, you just solve. For many of these, it's just going to be multiplying like we have here. And you're going to end up with a final area of 91.59 inches squared. Don't forget to use those units as well. Sometimes you're going to have all the given information, sometimes you won't, and you'll have to work a little bit at it. So, for example, in problem B, they gave us a right triangle, and the area for a triangle is 1/2 base times height, but notice there has to be the height and the base are actually my 2 legs of a right triangle. So in this first one, I'm going to write down 1/2 base times height. I've got the base, but I need the height. So I'm going to actually have to do a little Pythagorean theorem first. So I'm going to do Pythagorean theorem and solve out to get my missing side there. So 18.2 squared is going to give me 331.24. And that equals h squared plus 49. So we're going to subtract 49. And I have 282.24 equals h squared. And when I take the square root of that, I'm going to end up with 16.8 for h. Now I have my height and I have my base. I can then plug into my formula here. So I've got 1/2 of 7 times 16.8, and that just goes straight into the calculator. So I'm going to do 7 times 16.8, and I'm going to multiply that by 1/2, and I end up with my area of 58.8, and we were dealing with feet squared. In my final example here, we're going to also have to use Pythagorean theorem. If you look closely, they've given us a trapezoid here. So my formula is 1/2 the height times base 1 plus base 2. Be careful here. In order to have height, it has to be perpendicular to the base. So this 18 is not the height. We have to find the height. The height would be something like this. And what it really does is it creates a right triangle for me when I draw that in, even though I kind of missed the line over here. And if we look closely, base on the top or on the right hand side is 25, and this base here is 33. So there's a difference of 8 feet there when I draw that height in. So I can use that to find my missing height in order to find the area. So I'm going to do Pythagorean theorem. I'm going to let you guys do it, and when you come back in, Pythagorean theorem will be done, and we'll finish up this problem. Alright, welcome back in. So if you notice up here, I did my Pythagorean theorem. 8 squared plus h squared equals 18 squared, and I got that my height was 16.12. And from there, I just plugged in, and I combined my 2 legs here. So I have half times 16.12 times 58. So we're going to do 58 times 16.12, and we're going to times by a half, and you end up with your area as 467.48, and that is square feet. So as you see, there are some that you're just going to be able to plug and go. Others you're going to have to do a little bit of work using prior knowledge. Now, you might also see some word problems that we're going to have to kind of work through. So here it says a triangle has an area. So they've already given us the area. So area equals 45.5 centimeters squared. And it says triangle, so we can say that area equals 1/2 base times height from our chart. And it tells us that our base is 14 centimeters. So I can plug in, using the information that I was given, base of 14, so I can say 45.5 centimeters squared equals 1/2 times 14 times my height. And all I have to do here is just solve. So half of 14 is going to give me 7. So I have 45.5 equals 7h, and I'm going to divide by 7. 45.5 divided by 7 is going to give me 6.5 as my height. So we're still using the area formula, we're just using it in a different way. Go ahead and try the second one. So they tell us it's a trapezoid. So the formula for that is 1/2 my height times base 1 plus base 2. Go ahead and try to solve this. They told you the area, they told you some information, and when you come back in, the problem will be solved for you. Okay, welcome back in. So I made my little chart here. I made base 1 was 12, pulling out of the information from the write-up. Height was 4, and the area was 58. Plugging in, I had that set up right there. And what I did to get from step 2 to step 3 is I just multiplied a half times 4. I took a half of 4, which gave me 2. And then I divided both sides by 2 to get 29 equals 12 plus base 2. And subtracting 12, you get that base 2 equals 17. So area is very simple. It's really just plugging in and solving. You're always going to be given enough information to solve these problems. So there's never going to be a point where you won't be able to find the missing piece. You will have to do some thinking at times, but you're never going to be left without enough information to solve these. Make sure to bring in any questions you guys have into class, and I'll see you guys then. Have a great day.